Hi everybody, thank you for joining me for another video. This is Dr. Sarah, and this is another continuation of my series for supporting holiday sanity. Specifically, I've been blogging, writing articles, and posting videos for the upcoming holiday season, and I started a little bit before, and I want to continue on through the season in order to help you stay calm, collected, cool, and to make your season more cheery and bright and less havoc promoting and full of stress. So I recently concluded on my series about frankincense essential oil, and I discussed in nitty-gritty molecular scientific detail about how the different constituents in 4 of the most popular frankincense species can support our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And I wanted to spend some time differentiating between the most prominent forms of frankincense essential oil because I didn't want to create more stress when I brought up the use of frankincense essential oil with essential oil lovers just trying to decide and create decision fatigue about which frankincense bottle to choose. So if you haven't checked those out, I hope you do. I actually also did a video wrap-up that summarizes it for the less scientifically inclined, but also provides the resources and just enough geek out to keep the fellow geeks interested. So make sure you check that out. This week, I actually started writing about dealing with addictions with the holidays and how essential oils and spirituality can help one cope. So how did I jump from frankincense to addictions and spirituality? Well, because frankincense is one of the most sacred essential oils. And spirituality, which I also discussed when I was talking about frankincense, has been linked to health outcomes, well-being, better emotional outcomes, you know, the practices of meditation and the sense of peace that people of religious traditions get and that they practice, the gratitude and prayers, actually has been linked to better physical effects as well. So one of the things that happens with the extra demands, obligations, and basically being pulled in 16 different directions during the holiday time while most people are still trying to keep up with regular work week and, you know, just getting prepared, is that there's also the thought of, okay, we're going to have all these gatherings, time to share and be together. But there's usually 1 or 2 family members within a family, or maybe even more, that people worry about because of addictions or because they might have a substance use disorder. And also the people that are trying to deal with these addictions and substance use disorder can become more triggered during the holidays because of this extra stress and because they're going to be in situations that, you know, maybe that they've been removed from or emotional connections with other people again that might trigger them. So these association cues actually do ignite biochemical signals in their brain to actually kind of create an association and a link to that substance of abuse as a means of relief. So what can people do who are struggling with, you know, how am I going to stay, quote unquote, clean and away from things that harm me and keep, you know, the family function more calm and as well as keep me calm? How can I cope with that? So I did list some resources, and I'm going to, of course, post the link for you guys to check out that also, so you can click on the articles and get more information in as much details as you want. But, you know, things such as having a good therapist, being mindful of what the triggers can be, and preparing and rehearsing for what they are in a better response rather than going towards the substance or the addictive chemical. These things, practicing gratitude, being of service, getting out of oneself, these are all things that have been suggested by psychologists and other people who have recovered from these situations to be as helpful. And it's been stated in one review that changing your life is you know, when you are moving from a substance use disorder into, you know, a new means of coping, it actually changes your life because you have different people, places, and things now that you've changed. And this is important because in order to do this, they say that there's 4 things: creating that new life, being completely honest, asking for help, practicing self-care, and not bending the rules. Not saying that this time will be different. That's actually 5. So I guess I remember math is not my thing. Biochemistry, essential oils, looking at research, more my thing. So forgive me there. But there's an article that I linked to that can also help for people that are struggling, so they can get more tips and read more of the science if that will be helpful. But we never want, you know, somebody that is going to, you know, deal with recovering from an addictive substance. People that are supporting and loving them never want to kind of say, oh, why can't you just do it this one time? Really, when we're dealing with addiction, it's a family affair, and we have to look at as well as the family's part with it. You know, a lot of people may not know that when someone is struggling with a substance use disorder or an addiction, it is a whole family dynamic that affects and is affected by this. Specifically, family members can unknowingly enable people to continue with it, right? Saying it's just a matter of willpower and it's not a physical, emotional, and spiritual issue. Why can't you just, you know, do it responsibly or not do it at all? Why can't you just stop? These are things that can trigger the addict. So what I did is I actually listed a really great article that goes through exactly how family dynamics are at play with an addictive cycle, and that the family itself can become sick in some of the ways, you know, psychologically, how they're dealing with this and create more dysfunction. So it's important for the family to also get support and create awareness, and also be gentle with yourself during these times of extra stress, and just, you know, maybe come up with some better ways of coping with the person that has a substance abuse disorder or the addiction. Other things that I talked about is spirituality. Now, just as in the medical field with other health conditions, spirituality is often ignored, but yet is related to better outcomes. The same is true in addiction recovery. A lot of times people will get emotional help, they'll get physical help, whether it be with, you know, psychological support or nutrition or changing their lifestyle habits. But what is often overlooked is the fact that spirituality can help as well. And there's actually a couple studies that I wrote about how spirituality helps the well-being, it helps family and economics, and all these different factors that are related to opiate addiction. There's actually the relationships with an addict and their relationship with something higher than themselves has actually been shown to affect these different outcomes. Same is true in other addictions, right? The 12-step programs have been found to be effective, and there's a study that I wrote about the efficacy of 12 steps in spirituality for addiction, and you can check that out as well. Same holds true just for the addict as for family and friends of someone that has a substance use disorder. There's actually studies on Al-Anon, which is a group network of support for people of alcoholics. It's actually a free resource. And I was actually looking up if there's studies on this, just because I'm a geek, for a couple of patients that are dealing with it, their family or friend or loved ones with an alcohol use issue. I just wanted to see if there was science, and there is actually science that shows that having this sort of social connection, which, remember, I talked about the importance of relationships and how that affects health outcomes, and it changes our brain and bodies for the better, right? So these social supports of people bonding and coming up with better coping skills have also shown to have efficacy in the literature, and I listed some and linked those for you that are interested. So there is actually validation that these support groups for family members and that these support groups for the addicts themselves can be helpful for overall outcomes. So we don't want to ignore that. And what I also wanted to do is kind of tie in the fact that essential oils support physical, emotional, and spiritual, right? So they can enhance our spiritual connection by changing the brain pathways, getting somebody out of fight or flight, whether it be the family member or the person with the substance use disorder, getting them to be better able to think through, what the next decision will be rather than just being reactionary. And that can cause better habits and relate to better outcomes. So remember, when we're making these changes, whether it be the family changing how they react to the alcoholic and create better responses, or the addict changing how they deal with life in general, we're rewiring the brain pathways. And this is called neuroplasticity. And essential oils are one tool, lifestyle is another, meditation, spirituality, these are all things that can help. So I went on a little bit longer than I expected, but I think this is a really important topic because this is a big stressor, right? When we're preparing for the holidays and gatherings and people coming together, there's that elephant in the room of maybe someone that is drinking and it's making somebody else uncomfortable, or somebody is using something and maybe their behavior is inappropriate. Having these tools to look at and just prepare, and also maybe even breed understanding and how to react to it, can be very helpful and decrease and eliminate, not necessarily eliminate, but mitigate some of the stress that people might be holding as they approach the actual gathering time together. Hope that was helpful. Please do provide any comments of people who have experienced this or are struggling with addictions, or somebody that they know has an addiction. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know if these tips are helpful for you and what you think. So make sure you comment, and I really do hope that you have a wonderful, beautiful, calm and serene holiday as much as possible. There's probably no way to completely not have any stress for the holidays, but I wish you the best. And I might be doing a video next week, but I might be taking a little break for the holidays, so I might just be doing some reposting, but I will be sure to catch you either in the next coming weeks or into the new year. So everybody take really good care, and I wish you the best, and I'm very grateful for you, and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Thanks again. Bye.